So branding, we have got a new branding approach that we have already released, and you may have started seeing it in some of our content, particularly the new corporate site at timpi.io that we have, which we'll come on to as well. So the Timpi branding as you know it is changing slightly to be encompassing of our entire ecosystem now that we have our products out. That's also a big major update for today. And so the Timpi logo, as you know it, which is the plain white Timpi or black, or sometimes we use red, is now going to become the Timpi ecosystem, as you can see here, with the red dot of the eye. The red dot really signifying our heritage back over the years, where we've taken the lead. The brand has led with that red color, i.e., you see on my shirt here. That's still going to be part of a core part of the brand, but just in a slightly different way. So with the Timpi becoming the Timpi ecosystem, well, what is the ecosystem? And we have our entire ecosystem launched and live at the moment. Some of these things will be a bit of a surprise. We have search that's been live for some time. That's been continuously developed out in public. We've got some updates there. The new branding. We have ads, which is now live. We have Timpi data, which is now live. And we have Orca, which is an orchestration platform. We'll talk more about that. So Timpi search. I'll go quickly about what they represent, but this is, you'll start seeing these brands coming out in the content and in the applications over the coming few weeks, with the Timpi search signifying discovery and exploration. The messaging around Timpi search hasn't changed. It's still around data freedom, unbiased information, and security. The Timpi ads, we're signifying reach and amplification. Data is transformation of raw information into structured intelligence. And Orca is the orchestration platform, which really reflects coordination across complex systems. So that's the branding. And you'll see this branding reflected in our updated corporate website. It's a lot cleaner, a lot more responsive, and a lot faster than the old website. Representing our core products here, Timpi data. Data, as you'll see here, is live. You can come in here. We have a sandbox where you can actually search and poll our index directly. And the service is fully operational. Users, organizations can register, and we have different levels of access to our index. The core message here is the new branding, and it's live. And same with Timpi ads. Timpi ads went live at the beginning of the month. We have started getting organizations registering their accounts now and loading up campaigns, which is fantastic. This is just the beginning. We haven't really started on the marketing outreach yet. That's next month. The key activities up till now has really been just getting all these products and services live, which they are. And Timpi search, which you all know about.
Yep. The other one we talk about later.
We'll come back to Orca. We'll come back to Orca in a moment. So from a Timpi perspective, so we've got the Timpi ecosystem with the 4 core products underneath. The messaging and that we have at the ecosystem level is that the web is fundamentally changing, and we need to adapt along with it. Timpi has built this infrastructure for the changing internet. We have the data layer, we have the compute, all under one roof. And posing a challenge for people about what you're going to build. And again, we'll come back onto that, because now that we have the infrastructure here, we have everything ready for people to start building on our infrastructure. So that's the messaging and the core approach for the Timpi ecosystem. As said, for the vision and mission for search never changes. We just expanded this out into other products that are going to really help us get traction in the market. So I think we head into Orca, Jörg, because that's really one of the big updates and probably a big surprise to people. We have, I don't think, ever publicly spoken about what Orca is, how it came about, and what it does.
No.
And that's really going to start becoming a major brand at the center of this ecosystem that I've just discussed.
Okay, you want me to take over?
Yeah.
I can do, yes. First of all, congratulations on the new branding. I think it's amazing. It looks really cool. I like it. I love it. And it represents exactly what we have done the last couple of years and how we have evolved. So I think that's it's quite a statement. I do remember the first days and the first logos of Timpi, dear God.
I was thinking we need to go back and have a journey so we can see what the very first one was.
Yes.
The second one was we had some political challenges with, even remember that.
I remember that, yes.
And then and how it evolved. I think now with this ecosystem we've nailed it. Right? Yeah. This gives us a very strong basis to move forward from. And so, yeah, we're going to be here for a while with this particular branding. But I think it would be interesting, to go back and actually for sure do a bit of a timeline on where we started and where we are now.
Okay, let me share my screen. Can you see it?
Yeah. What's Orca, Jörg?
What's Orca?
Tell us.
You can read now. So I need to go back a little bit in time. And in order for us to do search, but also data and a lot of other things, we needed to create workflows. And these workflows was meant to be for Timpi, where we were able to combine things to do a task. So I went onto a mission to create this workflow capability for Timpi. And it turned out to be pretty cool. So we gave it a nice name, Orca, and decided that's a pretty cool product. Because what is Orca? Orca is an orchestration and AI execution platform. That means you can basically do workflows and utilize our entire backend to support your workflows and what they do. So we know that we have the Synaptron network, for example, and that's a view of the Synaptron controller right now, and you can see it's doing stuff all the time. So that stuff that it does is actually Orca workflows. So we already use Orca quite heavily, and executing workflows on Orca to allow us to do things. So Orca itself, you can log into Orca or create an account. On Orca, it's orca.timpi.com. And when you create an account, you can basically build your own workflow. So you see a nice UI, which allows you to select blocks, which are on the left-hand side. And these blocks are not just AI blocks, that are logic blocks, data blocks, integration blocks, whatever you want to do, you can basically do with Orca. If you don't know how to use it, you can ask the Orca assistant to help you with that. So it can create workflows for you. That's still early stage beta, so it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. So what you do is you can basically say, I want to do a new workflow. And I'm starting off with a start block and an end block. That's all what I have. And now I can say, I want to do whatever. I want to utilize an AI model. So I can combine the AI model to the block. And now I can choose my AI models based on the task. So do I want to have a chat, a rec chat, question answering, classifying, whatever you want to do. You can basically do all kinds of tasks, and then you can choose all kinds of models. So we have a huge list of models that you can utilize with Orca. And this list is dynamic and can be extended, updated dynamically at any time. That's the reason why we moved to Synaptron v2. So it allows us to load dynamically Hugging Face models. For example, you can bring your own Hugging Face model and can do stuff with it. And it helps us to do something. For example, we can have a workflow that is a brand identity detection. So it takes a search query and identifies if there are any brand names or any stuff like that. So we have brand identities twice because we have two different scopes, and then we combine this. And the beauty on Orca is that you can create your workflow visually. You can test your workflow, obviously, and then you can publish your workflow. And publishing your workflow will basically create an API endpoint. And this API endpoint, that's now the forfeit effect. This API endpoint can then be called from anywhere. So you can call this API endpoint and start this workflow and get the results back, or you want to have integrations into a workflow and you want to integrate into, if I do a new one and go to integration, I can do integrations like Claude, Custom.js, Gmail, Google Docs, Sheets, MailChimp, Discord or Telegram, ChatGPT, and so on and so on and so on. You can publish X or LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you want to do. Or you can do, if there is no integration available, you could do a normal HTTP call and do an HTTP call, which we either way we have a present one or a template, or you can say, I have just a get, post, put, patch, whatever method, and you can pull or send information to any API endpoint. This whole workflow, or Orca, has allowed us to basically do, I can see the domain enrichment. So I'm doing a domain enrichment right now, which pulls information from a domain. It calls APIs. It enriches domain names with company data, with additional information, content of the web page, menu items, and so on. So that's our enrichment pipeline. You can also use it for very complex workflows. So if I go into my enrichment, then you can see you can do pretty awesome stuff. So the bottom ones are all AI calls, and that's all. And that's what we basically promote is, instead of using something like OpenAI, which is good, and it's good for what it does, for sure. So, but what we can do is we can basically have specialized models. So we support MOEs, so mixture of experts, where you have a specialized smaller model that is more accurate in a lot of cases, and for sure a lot more affordable. And you can do the same task, and in most cases even you can do a better task. So instead of using always for all the small tasks that you have to do, you always use something like ChatGPT. You can create your MOEs and can basically say, okay, I'm running all these models in parallel on our Synaptron web network, and it will be executed. So, and then the result will either be put into a database or sent back to you, or whatever you want to do with it. So this platform is now open for anyone. You can log in. The cost or the payments for running workflows and so on is in an entity. It's called compute units, CUs. When you log in the first time, you get the first present, you get the first, I think, 200 CUs, 200 CUs, I think, 200 CUs for free.
200.
Yeah, I think it's 200. You get the first 200 CUs and you can test it out. And if you run a workflow or if you test it, you can exactly see what CU is costing what. So you pay, the CU is basically based on steps. And then if you have steps and AI, so utilizing Synaptron, for example, then you have a CU for the step itself plus a CU for the AI call. And the AI call is dependent on the tier model. And for large language model, it's dependent on the input and output token. So that's all different. And then you can also run a complete data source. So you can do a bulk call into our index, for example, to run that one. It's also no problem. You have access to our normal index, to our companies databases, domain intel databases, news database, music database. So we have a lot more databases now, or indexes. It's not just pure our normal web index, but we extended our reach, and we combining those indexes for the search for once, but also to have them available on Orca itself and on the data platform. You can test this with any test data, for example, and then you get the results. And when you publish it, it will basically be an API endpoint that you can utilize to run, to build products around it. Yeah. So if I go onto my account, for example, you can see that I'm running about 8,400 CUs per hour because I'm running all the workflows under my admin account. And I have spent 4.2 million this month CUs, but it's very consistent. So you can obviously all the time see what transactions happened, what workflows did we run, and stuff like that. So that's how you can keep control over it. CUs can be purchased at the moment with credit card, I think, and soon we are in the middle of implementing crypto, of course, as well. That's coming in the next update.
The credit card payment actually isn't live at the moment, but it will be over the next few days.
Yeah. Credit card payment comes first, and then you can basically buy CUs from here and add. So we have a starter CU here, but that's going to be implemented, and you have a monthly subscription ways. You can share your workflows if you want to. So you can share your own workflow, make it public on Reddit, X, or LinkedIn, and help users to get started with these workflows. So that's no problem as well. There will be, and that was one future feature will be, there will be opportunity to even get some CUs as payment for workflows that you have worked on and want to share. What else do I need to talk about? Dear God, I'm totally. Seems like.
Well, I think that's probably a decent overview, Jörg. Yeah. Orca does a lot. Its capabilities, you can probably see with all the various different blocks, and each of those blocks are configurable in many different ways. So it's highly capable. Why are we showing you this now? It's because having well, first, as Jörg said, realize that actually that's a tool that we've been using internally actually has incredible utility outside of just using it internally as well. And with having just launched the ads and the data, new search capabilities coming in, that's all driven by Orca in the background. All of our products are all integrated in some form by Orca, and Orca's really become the central point of us being able to make such fast and efficient progress recently, because we're integrating the AI capabilities and Orca capabilities to become incredibly more efficient and delivering faster. And we are going to continue to do that. As we're becoming tighter on resources, we're utilizing AI more and integrating into all of our operations. And we can come to another example of where we're doing that in a moment. And Orca's at the center of that. So we want you guys to start using Orca. Test it out. As Jörg said, you can jump in, have an account. You've got enough CUs to play around with utilizing the workflows and testing those workflows.
Yeah, I just ran one to show you. That was an easy one, where to buy a laptop. That is our live workflow to do the intent detection. And where to buy a workflow, it comes back with informational and shopping as the labels, as the top two labels. So our search and our advertisement and our POIs. Oh, that's the other one I forgot to talk about. We have POIs as well. Our POIs are all driven by this intent detection. And if you look at it, this intent detection took 186 seconds for the AI model, and then a little bit around it. So the steps were finished within 190 milliseconds. We did the intent detection in the past utilizing Wilson, and Wilson took sometimes a lot more time, because Wilson is a large language model, also takes a lot more space, and can't be used for something else in this case. So we are now utilizing the Berta zero-shot model, which is very accurate, and it runs on a tier 1 GPU Synaptron, basically. So it is very efficient, very fast, and as Gareth said, everything that we do right now, like the brand and entity detection, so that helps our search when we do the next update, the SERP page, for example. We had the issue that when you search for Donald Trump, it was showing results for Donald Trump, and Trump. So when Donald and Trump was popping up on the page somewhere, it was showing this page, and we didn't have the capability of prioritizing pages that had Donald Trump in one phrase. So this brand and entity detection helps us to do that, because it helps us to identify brand names, to identify names, or locations, cities, and so on, which then helps us on the search result page to prioritize those pages or to give them a higher ranking. So that's now all possible because of Orca, through Orca. All the, as I already said, enrichments, even the chatbot is utilizing Orca itself. So the Orca assistant is using a workflow. You can do anything with it. To quickly go through the blocks again, we have normal lookups, we have loops, we have for each loops, database integration, cloud buckets, FTP or SSH files, webhooks, email. This is an interesting one, meeting event. I will talk about that a little bit more, I think, when it is ready. But we have, in terms of logic flows, we have decision-making routers. If I go to Wilson, I can show you our router, which looks pretty cool. Where's my MOE? So that's Wilson, just for your information. When you talk to Wilson on the search or on the extension, that is what you hit. So it's a pretty complex workflow, and you can see we have a switch router, which first of all, we do some intent and brand detection, and then we utilize the intent and brand detection for our switch router, and we go further and we have rec retrieval augmented generation, so we can have an AI model that gets data from an additional database. So we inject knowledge, you can say. We have our news, we have our Wikipedia, we have search, and so on and so on. And then it goes through some decision blocks to basically have 3 different LLMs with different prompts. So that is when you talk to Wilson, that is the workflow that you call. So even Wilson is now just a workflow. It is a pretty complex one, I admit that, but it works pretty fast. It is very fast. and works very reliable. So as I said, try it out. And I think Gareth can maybe give you some ideas on what can be done with Orca workflows. And then after that, I will talk about a customer of ours for Orca who is actually using it, and I can talk about what he's doing with it. You want to share your...
Yeah, I will in a moment. I'm just going to say something before I do. So you may be thinking, why are these guys showing us Orca right now? Well, after we've just launched the ads, we've just launched the data, we've got new updates from the search coming out. But what I want to make very clear is Orca is all of our products rolled in to one, essentially. It's utilizing our full infrastructure. It's fully integrated with data. So the data services that I showed you earlier, they are essentially just one way into our data product. You can access the endpoints via monthly subscription. This is another way into that. So you can literally drag a block which integrates with our data and the various indexes that Jörg spoke about earlier, the points of interest, the news, search. We have the search integrated into here, and we also have, and we will have the ads integrated in here as well. So Orca is all of those products. It's another entry point into our products and services specifically designed for developers and application development. And that's particularly interesting when we talk about the ads. On our last AMA, I spoke about how we are opening up ads to agentic traffic. The agentic search endpoint is now live, and it is serving advertisements to agentic traffic through our ad portal. That advertising integration for developers will also be in Orca, so people can build applications, integrate with our data, integrate with the advertising products, and power the AI workflows from our Snapshot network all under one roof.
Yep.
So
go ahead.
I was going to move on to Margo.
Now, one moment to give you an idea what we have right now. We have at the moment about 7 million Wikipedia entries enriched and indexed. We have 1.2 million news articles. We're pulling from over 8,000 news sources constantly. We have 13 million POIs, and that's North America and Europe and New Zealand, Australia. We have about 1 million domain enrichment records. That gives you information about what company sits behind it, what menu items do they have, how long have they been there, how large are they, LinkedIn pages and stuff like that of these businesses. We have 16.5 million music records. So that's it's a music archive basically with all this information. So that's what we have indexed, and that what we not only indexed but also enriched utilizing Orca basically. So let's go to Margo. I'm sharing.
Margo.
Margo.
So as I said earlier, we're utilizing Orca across really the entire organization to be efficient, and we've started building out our agentic workforce, and one of which Orca is the central point of. Now, one of those areas is our marketing. Gosh, what do we call Margo? Let me just show it. Let me just show Margo.
Marketing resource coordinator.
Marketing resource, whatever. Yeah, she does a lot. Margo does.
Yeah, she does.
So here's an example of how we're using it in Orca internally. Margo is a marketing assistant, right? She's an agentic build, which essentially at one level allows us to quickly and efficiently create articles based on all of our products. Now, I'm showing you the dev environment at the moment, so it's going to have to render each page initially. at one level, it's creating articles. You can see here that she's been creating quite a lot of articles for us. Now, these articles that have been produced here are actually as a result of news feeds that are automatically coming in. So Margo monitors news feeds and events that are happening around the world, relates them directly to our products and services, and then builds articles for those products and services ready for publishing. That's not only the content, but it's also the images as well. I did tell you whether this is going to be. She's been a bit stubborn this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go. So, for example, here are the feeds. That's an example of some of the feeds that we're monitoring. This is powered by our data and Orca infrastructure. So there's an initial heuristic check against keywords. Does this piece of news match a keyword? Here you can see there's one which matches AI. And that's the first heuristic check. If it passes this heuristic check, then it triggers more workflows within Orca. You can see some here that's been gone through the process. And it then pushes, matches the relevance of this article through the AI workflows in Orca to each of the products and services. So you can see here that we've got an article, etched valuation doubles to 21 billion in a month. And that's actually scored it evenly for all. That's not a good example. Here's a good example. Here we go. Comcast adds motion sensing to millions of new routers with a privacy catch. Of course, there's a privacy catch. So that's related it to giving it a score of 60 for data, 20 for search, and 10 for advertising. Now, everything in Orca is fully automated at different levels, and depending how anyone wants to set it up. At the moment, we have it set up so it pulls news feeds in, creates the article, and then it sits in our approval box. But you can have it fully automated if you so wished. Here, I've selected that article, and it's going to create a thought leadership piece based on that piece of news for Timpi Search. Now, I don't know whether you caught it last week, but there was an hour where Margo started publishing articles onto my LinkedIn, about one every 2 minutes. I didn't quite have the thresholds set up.
Probably.
Now, internally, we're not going to be fully automating and pushing out AI content, even though actually the quality of what's being produced through this article generation is really good. We still have editing capabilities in here. So for me, for example, I can come in here, I look at this, do quick edits, and then we can get it pushed out. And it produces the image with our branding before we push it out. We'll just do this. So Margo is going to become the central point of our marketing activity for the products that we've just released. And that's important because we have 4 different products now. It's produced the image related to that with our branding. Now, if I wanted to, I can just prove that and publish it, and that's done. We set it up for articles at the moment. This is also going to be monitoring Reddit and social feeds across different channels for different products. So we've got campaigns set up here for each of our products. And within those campaigns, we've established channels for which that content is going to be published. So it will pick up relevant content, news or social feeds, produce that content for us, not just long form articles. It can create the long form article, then produce all the content for the social posts, which is specifically designed for all the various different platforms. And what we do internally then is review and approve, edit, review and approve. It means that we're able to ultimately perform what would be done by 4 or 5 people working, producing content, monitoring channels, by a single person just going through an approval process. So this is an example, and we'll have to show it again when actually we've got this fully published. We're going to be publishing Margo for organizations to use as well. It's going to be a free tool. If you want to use the automations, it's going to be using Orca workflows, so you need to sign up for the Orca. But essentially, in itself, Margo is a free and openly accessible tool. So we're going to be publishing this, and when we publish Margo for everyone to use, we're inviting other people, everyone here, communities. We're going to be reaching out onto on GitHub, Hugging Face, for example, and inviting everyone to build on our platform. Now, to kickstart that initiative, we are having a hackathon, and basically what that's going to be involved is a set period of time, probably 24 hours, to build on our ecosystem and see what you can build. There are going to be set rules around it, but there's going to be quite a decent prize pool of our products and services. So we're going to have a prize pool of compute units for Orca. We're going to have advertising credits. We're going to have data subscriptions. And basically what that prize pool will do is, once you've built an example of your product that utilizes our infrastructure, that prize pool is going to allow you to take it to market without having to have the capital spend. That's the idea.
Yep.
So we're going to be inviting people to start building. Margo is just one example of an operational tool that's going to be that utilizes Orca. Again, it's something we use internally. We're going to publish it for everyone to utilize. And we want our communities and other communities to come and show us how you think you can utilize our infrastructure. I think, Jörg, you've got another example of that.
Yeah, I have another example, and that's actually a customer who's already on the platform. He created a account and also has been using CUs quite heavily. So in order to get pages ranked by Google and by Bing, and also getting it into the AI response of Google, you need to review your keywords and the keywords that are that people are searching for, and that's always an adjustment that you do, if possible, 2 or 3 times a week. So that means he goes onto the search platform from Google. He looks into what the people are searching for, and what are the competitors of the page he wants to promote. What is it they talk about or they have on content that brings them higher in the scoring, and then you adjust your page based on these search terms, basically. So you add content to it based on the search terms. So that's a very manual process, and he automated it using Orca right now. So he's basically pulling via an API the results of the search UI or of the search platform from Google, looks at the content and also at the competitors and what is it they are writing about, and then he's updating customer pages to get them up into the ranking. And Orca helps him to completely automate it and to offer it as a service. So he built, like Gareth did with Margo, he built an entire website around it where people can subscribe to his service and add their web page to it. And he will basically, what he does is connecting it to Orca, to his workflow. And the workflow does all the work, basically. So yes, he has several workflows that work together to identify the new terms, then create content for the web page itself, utilizing our advanced LLM, and then pushing it onto the page itself as a content item. So that's one service that he was doing it anyways for a few months now. He started it and has now, I think, 15 customers. But it was a very manual process where he had to add or spend a lot of time in doing it. And now with Orca, he automated it completely, and he gets paid for something that just a workflow can, or some workflows can do for him. So that's one example. And I think the hackathon that Gareth was talking about, look, we are looking for ideas, you know, and we help you to push your product to market using Orca. When you try Orca and you see some things that might be helpful that could be added to it, please reach out. We are happy for any feedback when it comes to what blocks are maybe missing, what integrations could we use. We are adding constantly more and more integrations. That's obviously a time factor, but we're adding more and more integrations so that you have it easier. Also, our Orca assistant will get better. I'm still in the testing phase where the idea is that you can basically, in normal text form, you can describe what it is you want to achieve. And then the Orca assistant will create you a workflow that does exactly that. So that's in testing right now. It does already quite good jobs, but it needs to have fine-tuning, basically. So yeah, I think Orca is cool. So if we look at the market,
we're inviting people to start using it, essentially.
Yeah. And Gareth already touched on that when we talked about why now. Why are we now, pushing out data ads? The new search version and another update is coming soon as well, and to the end also Orca and Margo and so on. First of all, we are going, as you all know, we are going to change the blockchain, and we are going to change it very soon. And having all these products out there is, for us, being on the new blockchain for the new users and new groups is very attractive. And that means that we will, draw a lot of attention to us by having all of these services in production out there live, and having already customers on it. I mean, even on Orca, we are already hitting something like 20 user accounts who are on there and creating workflows. So, which then, yeah, is good for us, all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. And this signifies a new era of Timpi, right? We have all our products out now, and we have all the internal operations to be actually make an impact and get the products seen and put in front of people. And we have the new branding as well. So this really is a massive step in Timpi's progress. And this has been a lot of work getting to here, but this is where really we start the journey again with the products live and the new branding and the new direction with the new blockchain.
Who would have thought that we will have an AI workflow automation and execution platform 3 years ago?
Amazing how things evolve.
Yeah. It is the time that we are in, and it's an exciting time. So it's quite cool.
We need to move and adapt with the market, and with that comes a lot more opportunities.
Yeah.
And that's what we've been doing, and we go from strength to strength. And I think this is the best situation we've ever been in right now. So, in summary, new branding, search update coming, ads is live, data's live, Orca platform is live. We have new tools coming out that are going to be built on our infrastructure. One of them is the marketing management system, Margo, that I've just shown you. We have other people building on our infrastructure now. The next step for us is to really get this in front of people's eyes and get more and more people utilizing our infrastructure. And the easiest way into that is now Orca, which is really the gateway into all of our products and services.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. The last
Orca
thing,
will...
actually, what I will say when we're talking about people are building on our platform, one of the questions we always get asked is when marketing, what marketing? And so Margo is going to enable us to be very transparent about the marketing activity. So when there's anything published through Margo, whether it be an article or a comment that's been responded to on any of our social platforms, then we're going to be pushing that through a platform called Engage. And actually, this Engage platform is something that one of our community members is helping work on. And the Engage platform essentially is a website that publishes all of our content, all of our activity, all of our marketing activity, where it is, what it is, all the social posts, all the articles, all the PR, all under one roof. And from there, you're going to be able to engage with the content that we're pushing out. But then that also provides the transparency that the community is looking for in terms of what is the marketing activity that we're going to be undertaking. That's going to be fully transparent, and everything that we do is going to be published through that Engage platform.
Yes. Cool.
I think that's it.
I think that's it. So we will announce the hackathon details in the next couple of days, probably next week. As Gareth said, will be a window of about, I don't know, 24 hours or something like that. You can start thinking about it. I have a cat. What you would like to present.
We are really happy about the hackathon, particularly Jörg.
Yes, I'm very happy about it. So it's really about, I have 4 cats, or we have 4 cats. It's really about, think about having a cool, idea, business idea, tool, whatever, that can utilize Orca to do a task, or several Orca workflows. So it's not restricted to one. In Orca, you can even have sub workflows and stuff like that. But think about ideas like Margo, Gareth did, or the other tool our customer did, where he used to do something very manual and then utilized Orca to automate it. And the benefit on him, to give you an idea, he was using, I think, Claude in the past for a lot of this stuff. And it was, for him, bloody expensive, because always using a very large language model, when you could use a very small model to do the same task and maybe do it even better, opens up a lot more opportunities for you, because all these smaller models, they are very good. They are very, they are up to date and stuff like that. And you can combine them and run them in parallel. So you have 4 models that run in parallel and do the same task as a large model, but at a fraction of the cost, basically. So instead of all of us using only the big 3, as we talked about in search, why not utilizing smaller models that can do a better job? We have meta experts in logic, in mathematics. We have, as I said, intent detection, and there's a whole lot. And if you miss a model, and if something you want to, you would like to use, then please reach out, and then we can load those models. That's not an issue. Cool.
Right, let's leave it there. So yeah, please take a look at the new site. There's links there to all the products and services that we've discussed today. Go and register for Orca. You'll get free compute units to have a play around with it. If anyone's interested in joining and participating in the hackathon, then that's probably the first entry point for you. Go and have a play around and see what you think you can do with it. Just to know, we will be providing all the resources for the hackathon. You won't need to pay for the compute unit.